कुंज विहारी गोपीजना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 1, Text 14. Yadvachitantyam gunakarmadamabhi सुदुस्तरैर्वत्सवयं सुयोजिताः सर्वे वहामो बलिमीश्वराय प्रोता न शिवा द्विपदे चतुष्पदः यद्वाचितन्त्यां गुणकर्मदामभिः सुदुस्तरैर्वत्सवयं सुयोजिताः सर्वे वहामो बलिमीश्वराय प्रोता न शिवा द्विपदे चतुष्पदः The first word in the second line is Sudustarai. Not some people are chanting as Sudustarai. Sudushta is a very bad person. Sudusta means very difficult. Yadvachitantyam gunakarmadamabhi Sudustarairvatsavayam suyojitaha Sarve vahamo balimishvaraya Prota nasiva dvipade chatushpadaha Ladies, please. Yat, of whom, Bachi, in the form of Vedic instruction, Tantyam, to a long rope, Guna, of quality, Karma, and work, Damabhi, by the ropes, Sudustarai, very difficult to avoid, Vatsa, my dear boy, Vayam, we, Suyojitaha, are engaged, Sarve, all, Vahamaha, carry out, Balim, orders to please him, Ishvaraya, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Protaha, being bound, Nasi, in the nose, Iva like Dvipade to the two-legged driver. Chatufpadaha, the four-legged bulls. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. My dear boy, all of us are bound by the Vedic injunctions to the divisions of Varnashrama according to our qualities and work. These divisions are difficult to avoid because they are scientifically arranged. We must therefore carry out our duties of Varnashram Dharma like bulls obliged to move according to the direction of a driver, pulling on ropes knotted to their noses. Purport. It's a long purport, sir. In this verse, the words Tantyam Gunakarma Damabhi are very important. We each get a body according to our association with the gunas, the qualities or modes of material nature, and we act accordingly. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, the four orders of the social system, namely Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, are arranged according to guna and karma, their qualities and work. There is some controversy about this, however, because some say that since one receives a body according to the guna and karma of his past life, it is one's birth that determines his social status. Others say, however, that one's birth according to guna and karma of his past life is not the essential consideration, since one can change his guna and karma even in this life. Thus they say that the four divisions of the social order, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, should be arranged according to the guna and karma of this life. This version is confirmed in the Srimad Bhagavatam by Narada Muni. While instructing Maharaj Yudhishthir about the symptoms of guna and karma, Narada Muni said that these symptoms must govern the division of society. In other words, if a person born in the family of a Brahmana has the symptoms of a Shudra, he should be designated as a Shudra. Similarly, if a Shudra has Brahmanical qualities, he should be designated a Brahmana. The Varnashram system is scientific. Therefore, if we accept the divisions of Varna and Ashram according to the Vedic instructions, our lives will be successful. Unless human society is thus divided and arranged, it cannot be perfect. As stated in the Vishnu Purana, 3rd canto, 8th chapter, verse 9, Varnashrama charavata purushena parahpuman Vishnur aradyate panta nanyatad doshakaranam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishnu, is worshipped by proper execution of prescribed duties in the system of Varna and Ashrama. There is no other way to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One must be situated in the institution of the four Varnas and Ashrams. All of human society is meant to worship Lord Vishnu. At the present moment, however, human society does not know that this is the ultimate goal or perfection of life. Therefore, instead of worshipping Lord Vishnu, people have been educated to worship matter. According to the direction of modern society, men think they can advance in civilization by manipulating matter to build skyscrapers, big roads, automobiles, and so on. Such a civilization must certainly be called materialistic because its people does not know the goal of life. The goal of life is to reach Vishnu, but instead of reaching Vishnu, people are bewildered by the external manifestation of the material energy. Therefore, progress in material advancement is blind, and the leaders of such material advancement are also blind. They are leading their followers in the wrong way. It is best, therefore, to accept the injunctions of the Vedas, which are mentioned in this verse as Yadvachi. In accordance to those injunctions, everyone should find out whether he is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra, and should thus be educated accordingly. Then his life will be successful. Otherwise, all of human society will be confused. If human society is divided scientifically according to Varna and Ashram, and if the Vedic directions are followed, one's life, regardless of his position, will be successful. It is not that Brahmanas will be elevated to the transcendental platform but not the Shudras. If the Vedic injunctions are followed, all of them, Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishyas and Shudras, will be elevated to the transcendental platform and their lives will be successful. The injunctions in the Vedas are explicit directions from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The example cited in this verse is that bulls tied by ropes in their nostrils move according to the direction of the driver. Similarly, if we move according to the instructions of the Vedas, the perfect paths for our lives will be set. Otherwise, if we do not move in the way but act according to our whimsical ideas, our lives will be spoilt by confusion and will end in despair. Actually, because people at present moment are not following the instructions of the Vedas, they're all confused. We must therefore accept this instruction by Lord Brahma to Priyavrata as the factual scientific direction leading to the success of life. This is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16, text 23. Ya shastra vidhim utrajya vartate kamakarata na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. If we do not live according to the injunctions of the Shastras, the Vedas, we shall never achieve success in life, to say nothing of happiness or elevation to higher statuses of living. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chaksu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. First of all, I must apologize. It's not my turn to give class at this Gokulananda Prabhu's, which I messed up yesterday because I thought the one that I missed the previous day I should cover up as well-intentioned service, and I actually took away someone else's. So yesterday was for me one of the very special days. I traveled around the universe. It was called Space Out, so I apologize. This morning you have to tolerate me one more time. The only thing to remember from this class, among other things, if there's one thing to take away, is this analogy, prota nasiva dvipade chatushpadaha, that bulls are tamed by ropes that go through their nostrils. Ever seen? If you have not seen, because we don't see bulls used in farms anymore, so it would be tough. But actually, a bull who's big, gigantic, strong, and its master is lean and thin, puts a rope through his nostrils, and he pulls on those ropes, and the big bull has to follow wherever the rope tugs him to go. So on a bullock cart, the driver, because he has these two ropes in his hand, if he pulls the left side, the bull turns left. If he yanks the right side, the bull turns right. So what it means is that we should also, because we're very bullish, actually buffalo sounds better, and I'll tell you why buffalo sounds better. Buffalo is one of my favorite animals. I'll tell you why. But actually buffaloes, our consciousness is buffalo-like. And the spiritual master uses Vedic instructions to guide us, to discipline us, so that we are of some use. So actually a water buffalo is useless. In nature, there are many animals from which we're supposed to learn things. We learn from the bumblebee how to be very busy throughout the day extracting nectar from other flower-like devotees and take from them the essence of their service, the essence of who they are. So bee always looks for honey. Different flowers, but it's still looking for honey. On the other hand, a fly looks for stool and garbage. Even if there is an orchard full of beautiful flowers, the fly is busy looking for a pile of stool and garbage. And that's where he enjoys hanging out. And interestingly, the fly is also busy. The bumblebee is busy, the fly is busy. But busy doing what is the important thing. Then there is our friend, the buffalo. The water buffalo is a huge black body. So our consciousness is like that. It's huge. We heard how big the false ego is. And it is dark, black. That means in our consciousness, there isn't anything that is shining. There is anything that is really good. Our consciousness is completely black or contaminated with this intense desire and tendency to enjoy material energy. Therefore it is said, Janmanat Jayate Shudra. By birth, one is a Shudra. One doesn't know anything. And by samskaras, by proper training, one becomes Dvija, born again. So buffalo, if you've never visited India, next time you go to India, please study the buffalo, among other things that you study. The buffaloes don't care for anyone. They have absolutely no sense of social niceties. It is all about them. And they're so big that they can take away space. Even if other animals are there, they'll easily bulldoze them and make space for themselves. And a buffalo is oblivious. Another great quality of the buffalo is that he is oblivious. So when we hear this, the parallel to think about is our consciousness. Oblivious to others. Oblivious of what is good for others. Oblivious to how my behavior, my words will affect others. Just completely oblivious. And even if someone tries to tell him something, he just stares at the person back. Like that. And if you agitate the buffalo too much, then he charges at you. He doesn't like to be disciplined. And the third thing is that he is very obstinate. Stands in the middle of the road. Even if a big bus comes, the bus has to halt with a screech. And even if the bus honks, the buffalo just stands in the middle of the road as if he didn't hear anything. It's like as if the bus doesn't exist. So a buffalo is a very, very unique animal. We can learn our obstinate nature from the buffalo. So the spiritual master has these ropes called Vedic instruction. And he has to tame the buffalo, or here in this case, bull. Strong with false ego. So he takes the Vedic instructions and slowly, gradually tames the bull, the buffalo. So these instructions are important. If one doesn't follow Vedic instruction, as is described in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that one cannot look forward to anything in life. Sana siddhim avapnoti. One who lives a whimsical life cannot aspire for perfection in anything. Whatever they do, they will fail. They will fail. Even if they attain their idea of perfection for a little bit of time, that perfection will go away. It is very transient. Sanasiddhim avapnoti. No sukham. For a person like that, there cannot be happiness. Because whimsical behavior cannot lead one to happiness. Actually, only disciplined life can lead one to happiness. Whimsical behavior keeps one in the mode of passion and ignorance. And we know happiness in the mode of passion looks like nectar in the beginning and is poison very quickly after that. And happiness in the mode of goodness looks like poison in the beginning, feels like it because I have to follow instructions. Oh no. But in the end, it is nectar. So one who lives whimsically doesn't get anywhere. Whimsically means not guided by a Vedic authority. I would not even say superior authority, because in this world there are many relative superior authorities. Excuse me. But actual guidance is from the Vedas, from scriptures, specifically Guru. We cannot say, I will follow scripture without Guru. One cannot, because one wouldn't know what instruction to follow. In the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, in the introduction, Prabhupada gives an analogy. If you go to a chemist or a drugstore, there are many medicines. Without a physician's prescription, you cannot say, because I'm in Walgreens, I'll take whatever medicine I like. If that's the case, suppose a person has a problem of hair falling very quickly, but he doesn't know what medicine to take something whimsically, then whatever is there, that also may go away. Because it can have deleterious effects. Taking medicine without a physician's prescription. So it's important that even if we come to the Vedas, we follow the instructions as given by spiritual master. One cannot dwell into the Vedas on one's own. That is also called whimsical behavior, actually. It is important to give our life in the hands of the spiritual master. So if you remember anything, this is to take. That our life is meant to be simply guided by whatever instruction the Guru gives. That's the perfection, that's the siddhi actually of one's life. All other siddhis come from this one siddhi. That we are perfectly guided by the instructions of the spiritual master. And even if we are like bulls, it's that rope that takes us wherever they would like us to go, whatever they would like us to do. Sarvameta dhritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava. I accept as truth whatever you have spoken, my dear Krishna. That is Arjuna's conclusion. And I will do whatever you say. So the disciple or the student, first order of business is to become completely disciplined by their spiritual master. It's called Sishya Steham. Sishya, the word Sishya comes from Sanskrit word Sashana. Sashana means discipline. Anusashan. Discipline by the words of the Guru. Whatever the Guru's words are, that's what one follows. This is the path that a disciple must follow. There are intermediate stages. That means the first is that the disciple doesn't follow anything. Third class disciple. Third class disciple means whatever instruction is given, cannot fulfill those instructions. Gets distracted, doesn't like, whatever. Second class disciple is whatever instruction is given, executes it perfectly well. First class disciple is who understands mood and the mind of the spiritual master. Now when I say mind of spiritual master, don't get into, oh, I thought you can never predicate the mind. We cannot. But the point is, one who anticipates what the Guru would like and does. This is first class disciple. And it takes to know the heart of the Guru. And it is possible. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Swayam Rupa. Rupa Goswami understood the mind of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya asked, how is it possible? How is it possible? He asked Swarup Damodar Goswami, how is it possible for Rupa Goswami to understand what is in my mind? And Swarup Damodar Goswami gave him an answer. That is because you have given him full mercy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, that is correct. That is correct. So the spiritual master is very eager to give his full mercy to us. Are we ready? Are we preparing to receive it is the question. This is the underlying theme in Lord Brahma's speech to Priyavrata. And he uses Varnashram as the platform to explain it to Priyavrata Maharaj. That you've been performing this tapasya for millions of years. Actually, we were discussing yesterday, Gokulananda Prabhu was saying, that a couple of Manus have changed from the time Priyavrata Maharaj went to the Gandhamadana forest to when this discussion is happening. So he's been performing tapasya for millions of years. Yet Lord Brahma says that you have Kshatriya tendencies, that you have your psychophysical nature, which we would like to employ in Krishna's service. So there is a debate whether one's varna and ashram is decided by one's birth or by one's qualities only. Generally, birth indicates what possible qualities one might have, but not always. Generally. If certain brahmanas performed Garbhadana Samskara properly, then likely, there is a very high likelihood that the progeny will have Brahmanical qualities. Not always, not 100% necessity, but generally. So according to Narada Muni, the sure shot method for determining one's varna and ashram is to look at one's qualities and not one's birth only. Because by birth, one can be born in a Brahmana family and have all Shudra qualities. Possible. On the other hand, it is also possible that one can be born in a Shudra's house but have Brahmanical qualities. Story of Satyagama Jabala, for example. So the best way to determine one's varna and ashram is by one's qualities. In Maharaj Priyavrata, we don't know, but Lord Brahma is describing that you have those qualities by which you can rule the world. And we are asking you to do so. And you cannot say no, because by these qualities we are actually bound by duty. One should live one's life according to one's duty. If one has a duty, whatever will happen, it doesn't matter. One should execute one's duty. One should never give up on one's duty. The path to glory or elevation in conscious, glory doesn't mean put up on a stage and give 20 garlands and 50 speeches about the person. Glory in the eyes of Krishna is to never deviate from one's duty. To never, come what circumstance, never give up one's duty. What is one's duty? There are two sets of duties. One is duty according to one's varna and ashram. And above that, our duty is the instructions of the spiritual master. Generally, the spiritual master's instruction will align with our varna and ashram duties, natures. He will not usually say something that is against that. So very rarely do we have a, dichotomy or dilemma. Should I follow this instruction or should I follow that instruction? Because both are my duty. Generally, the Guru will give instructions that align us with our varna and ashram, generally speaking. And in the rare circumstances that we get an instruction that is seemingly different than our varna and ashram duty, then we follow that instruction. Tyaptva swadharmam. It's all right. For example, Yudhishthir Maharaj was asked, can you speak a lie so that we can kill Dronacharya? Speak a lie? Me? I'm Dharmaraj. How can I speak a lie? I'm known all over the world for being truthful. This is my character. How can I do something against my character? Oh, please, speak a lie. And Krishna chose Yudhishthir Maharaj. Of all people in the Pandava Sena, you should speak. Why? Because if any other Pandava would have said, Ashwatthama is dead, Dronacharya said, possible that he's lying. But if Yudhishthir Maharaj says, Ashwatthama is dead, then there is no questioning it. So he said, oh, no. And our acharyas explain that after Yudhishthir Maharaj gave up his life, he had to visit hell for a few moments. So many people have many interpretations why that is the case. That is because he played the game of dice or something. The answer is that he hesitated. Our acharyas explain he hesitated from following the instructions of Krishna. The readiness is, Krishna says do this, we do that. Krishna says do something else, one should do something else. That's what we're preparing for. That's the perfection to get to. And in that perfection is all happiness. And Param Gatim, the ultimate destination. Because that's what Krishna is looking for. How malleable have we become in the hands of Guru. That is the rope in the nostrils of the bull. Generally, the bull is adamant. And the problem is sometimes the bull thinks, I know what is good for me, and so goes in that direction. So the spiritual master has to yank the bull. So he's giving Priyavrata Maharaj this principle that duty stands highest. And that duty is determined by In this case, he's talking of Varnashram, but primarily the instructions of the Vedas. However the instruction comes, that's what one follows. Whether we like it or we don't like it. Whether it is nice service, not nice service. Whether it is joyful service or service we don't like. Whatever, doesn't matter. Doing it and doing it happily is the perfection of one's being a disciple. When Arjuna began with Sishyasteham sadimam tvam prapannam, he meant it. He meant it. Please tell me. I'm completely open to hearing what you say. But very quickly he says, but what about this? What about that? You've got me confused. He's asking those questions just so that he can serve Krishna without any confusion. And he says at the end of the Bhagavad Gita that my confusion has ended. Nashtamoha smritirlabdva. My illusion has been dispelled and my memory has been restored. Otherwise, Prabhupada says one who doesn't follow instructions of the Vedas becomes even more confused. Instead of saying Nashta Moha Smritir Labdva, I will say Nashta Smritir Moha Labdva. My memory is gone and I've gained a lot of illusion. Quite the opposite. And later in this canto, King Rishabha is going to tell us that a person who leads his life according to whimsical behavior, fruitive mentality, is called parabhava. He is lost, defeated. Because he doesn't understand, he doesn't inquire what should be guiding my life. Parabhavas tavad abodhajatah yavanna jigyasat atmatattvam. So one who doesn't inquire, who should guide me? One who doesn't inquire from spiritual master, please tell me what direction my life should go in. How should I fulfill your instructions? Such a person becomes parabhava. So always safe, it is described. Now general principle. General principle is that it is always safe to be in the middle of the road. To be in the middle of the road means to follow Vedic injunctions properly and not operate near the edge of the road, which means, can I deviate a little bit? Is that okay? Like, can I do this as long as this seems Vedic, but it's a little on the periphery. The farther one gets away from the middle of the road, well, I'll state the principle. The farther that one gets away from the Vedic paradigm, one has to live a life full of compromises. Right? That was the principle we heard from Jai Jagannath Prabhu. You speak a lie, that means we have deviated from the truth, and then you have to speak a lie to make that lie come true. Right? Then we have to speak more lies to make all the lies come true. That means it's a life full of compromises. In that example. In anything else, you deviate from Vedic principle and life is full of compromises. Then one leads one life nothing but compromises. So it's important to be in the middle of the road as much as possible. Middle of the road means following the instructions of Guru, because as we follow instructions of the Guru, the road is straight and clear. Otherwise, we have to accept. We have to accept that to the degree I've moved from the Vedic paradigm, to that degree I have to live a life of compromise. And we just accept that because that's how we have to live. And move progressively back to the middle of the road. Okay, some thoughts you want to add, questions, comments? Wake up time. Anything? I wouldn't be offended if there's nothing to ask. I'm totally cool with that. Would like to say something? Yeah, here's
challenging. I mean, the individual himself doesn't know what is his nature. We just speak of someone else trying to ascertain. The natures are also so very much polluted. So we're way outside Varnashram.
yeah.
So you were mentioning that a spiritual master will give instructions, just connecting, that will align us with our Varna ashram and making it the principal claim. But with such polluted natures, I don't see how a spiritual master would be able to effectively do that. So I was wondering how, because oftentimes when we hear that point, this is what came to my mind. We may get an instruction that we think doesn't align with our nature, which we either don't know, and which is anyway so polluted. So, what is the type of instruction?
Yeah. We shouldn't think that spiritual master is giving me an instruction because that's my nature. That's not correct. First of all, spiritual master is trying to, he has picked us out from a pile of stool. So first is a wash. After wash is all the clothing and decoration. That's later. First is just the wash. So just because he's giving us instruction to wash ourselves, we shouldn't think that's my nature. First order of business is obedience. Then comes nature. Only from obedience comes nature. Otherwise nature cannot come. It is not necessarily that the spiritual master met somebody and immediately the nature is clear. Maybe, maybe not. One has to render very obedient service before nature is revealed. And nature is also not revealed suddenly, voila, there's only indicators, the tendencies. Then depending on engagement, then the guru has better insight. That's why a child used to go to Gurukula for many years. And then the guru said, that's his nature. And instructed accordingly. So we may not get instructions according to our nature. It's not necessary. We may get instructions according to what may be necessary that it happens at that moment or in general, some service to do. For us, the operating principle to learn is discipline, from which nature may come out. That's my understanding. Yes?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
The bull has the ring in his nose.
Right.
So when the instruction or the pull comes, he has to follow. So he's
What
very
about the
surrendered.
bull who doesn't have a ring?
Yeah, so he's very surrendered. But we maybe not be having this like ring situation going for us. So what is the regard that we must cultivate for the spiritual master?
Just let him put the ring in our nose. A bull who doesn't allow the ring cannot do anything. The utility of a bull that doesn't have a ring in the nose does only two things. Gives out a lot of stuff on the backside and has many kids, little calves and other cows, but this is really not useful. A bull's utility is when it does work in the farm, guided and does something. useful. So our sense of, I mean, get, if we were at the breakfast table, I would have said it differently. Okay. But the idea is that there's a utility, there's a purpose. Prabhupada said utility is the principle. Are we being utilized by Krishna? That is why we say Dvija, the second life, is important. One should aspire for that second life, because the first life brings us only into the human species. The second life makes us a human being, by which there is something available. Just because we dug a hole and excavated gold, that gold is useless because it's in its raw form. It has to go through the hands of a goldsmith to create some nice jewelry out of it. Second birth, if you will, where the impurities are removed. And one way to remove impurities is a lot of hammering and put in the fire. Then only, and it's melted, then the jewelry comes up, ornament. So before we get the ring in the nose, we prepare them. May I one day have that ring in my nose. That would be nice. So we have a lot of Shastra that convince us of the importance of having that ring. Like Prabhupada said, dogs of Krishna. Tamed by, dedicated to. Ashray Prabhu.
Kind of struck me that something we were discussing yesterday and the questions that have come up in different contexts, Bhagavad Gita class and this discussion also, is that me, or such conditioned souls are often expecting at the end of the spiritual path to somehow find a comfortable material situation. So we think of things like, well, is the spiritual master's instructions going to bring me to a happy existence by living in my nature in this world, or some kind of thing like that? And through this discussion, I was just considering that really we don't have the goal that I just want to get free from material consciousness completely. We're thinking, what's the benefit going to be for me? Or like, I always think in these recent classes of what Srila Prabhupada says in the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that no one really has the interest of the Supreme in mind. Actually, he's thinking of his own interest. Even when we're thinking of so-called religious life, we're still thinking about our material concept, self-interest. So, I don't know, I just expressing this reflection, and it seems like we need to really, from the beginning, look at what the goal is. I mean, you know, the spiritual master, or Srila Prabhupada, or whatever, the devotees and all of this, they're not living with a comfortable material situation. They're just happy because they're
That is correct.
Krishna
In fact, if
consciousness.
somebody is living comfortably in material situation, that's when the spiritual master gives an instruction to move the person from that position. Life is not meant to be comfortable in material situation. In fact, for such persons, the guru actually appears and gives instruction to shake that situation out, shake him out of that situation, him or her. Priyavrata is happy in the Gandhamadana hill. Imagine suddenly a visit by this person saying, uncomfortable position, palace place, king of the world. I don't want that. Pack your bags, buy your ticket. And by the way, we're all guided by these instructions. That's the Lord's instruction. That's what you have to follow. Uncomfortable or not. Our comfort is in following the instruction. That's the comfort. Anything else is uncomfortable. Up there, but I'm just saying, principally.
To be like that.
Huh?
Meant to be, that's
Meant to be, of course. Meant to be.
thinking of Chitraketu also. He says, Apitulya darshanam, it doesn't matter whatever the circumstance is, Narayana Parasa. If you actually are seeing it like that,
That's right.
that's how you should.
In fact, in that section, after when he becomes Vritrasura, Prabhupada describes that although King Indra is standing on that side, he is Sura, and Vritrasura is the Asura. Prabhupada says Vritrasura is the devotee and Indra is the demon. In that, because consciousness-wise, he is lamenting his position. What will happen to my kingdom, my throne? And Vritrasura is thinking, when will I go back to Godhead? Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.